It all started with a simple, knowing suspicion, a feeling you try to push down, telling yourself you're just being paranoid. For months, things between my wife, Sarah, and me had felt off. The late nights at work became more frequent. The texts she'd hide when I walked into the room, the way she'd flinch if I touched her phone. We'd been together for 10 years. Married for 7. I thought I knew this woman better than I knew myself. But suddenly, she was a stranger living in my house. I tried to talk to her, of course. I'd ask, "Is everything okay, honey? You seem distant." And she'd always have an answer, "Just stressed with work. Babe," or "I'm just tired." That's all. She was so good at making me feel like I was the one with the problem, that I was being insecure or needy. And for a while, I believed her. I doubled down. I cooked her favorite meals, planned date nights, bought her flowers for no reason. I was trying to fix a crack in a foundation that I didn't realize was already crumbling. The turning point came on our anniversary. I had booked a surprise weekend trip to the little bed and breakfast where I'd proposed. I was so excited. I imagined us reconnecting, finding that spark again. I came home early from work, a bottle of champagne in hand, ready to tell her to pack her bags. But the house was empty. A note was on the kitchen counter. "Sorry, honey. Got called into a last-minute work emergency. A big project deadline. I'll be really late. Don't wait up. Happy anniversary. Love you." My heart just sank. A work emergency on our anniversary? It didn't feel right. That little voice of suspicion was no longer a whisper. It was a scream, driven by a desperate need to know the truth. I did something I never thought I would do. I opened her tablet, which was still logged into her social media account. My hands were shaking. I told myself I was being crazy, that I'd find nothing and feel terrible for invading her privacy. I wish that had been the case. Instead, what I found shattered my world into a million pieces. It wasn't a work project. It was messages, hundreds of them. Not to a coworker, but to a man I'd never heard of. Their conversation was a timeline of betrayal. They were talking about their weekend getaway. They had inside jokes, pet names for each other. They talked about me, calling me clueless and the obstacle. But the message that truly broke me was the most recent one she had sent, just an hour before I got home. "Can't wait to see you." Finally getting away from him for a whole weekend. This is going to be our best trip yet. She even sent him a picture of the lingerie I had bought her for our anniversary. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The air was sucked out of my lungs. I just sat there, on the floor of our kitchen, the champagne bottle still in my hand, staring at the screen. This wasn't just a fling. This was a whole other life she was living. The 10 years we'd spent together, the vows we made, the future we planned it, all felt like a lie. Every I love you, every shared laugh, every moment of intimacy was now tainted. I scrolled back, and the messages went back for over a year. A whole year. In that moment, a strange calm washed over me. The pain was immense, but the confusion was gone. I finally had the truth, as ugly as it was. I packed a bag, not for a romantic getaway, but for myself. I packed my clothes, my toileters, and the framed photos of our wedding day from the nightstand. I walked out of that house, the home we had built together, and I didn't look back. The days that followed were a blur of anger, grief, and emptiness. Telling our friends and family was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Some were shocked, others weren't as surprised as I thought they'd be, which hurt in a different way. It was like everyone else could see the cracks I was so desperately trying to ignore. Sarah tried to call, to text, to explain. The excuses were pathetic. It didn't mean anything. I was confused. I still love you. But how can you love someone while you systematically dismantle their trust and mock them behind their back? I couldn't listen to it. The person I loved didn't exist anymore, or maybe she never did. The legal process was cold and clinical, turning our life into a pile of paperwork. But with every signature, I felt a small piece of myself coming back. I started going to therapy, which was a game changer. Talking to someone who wasn't emotionally invested helped me process the betrayal without drowning in it. It's okay to not be okay. And it's even more okay to ask for help when you're going through something this devastating. It's been a while now. The anger has mostly faded, replaced by a quiet sadness for the life I thought I had. But there's also a sense of freedom. I'm rebuilding. I've reconnected with old friends, thrown myself into my hobbies, and I'm slowly learning to trust myself again. The biggest lesson in all of this: your intuition is rarely wrong. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for listening to that inner voice. Facing a truth like this is one of the most painful things a person can go through. It rips your reality apart. But you can survive it. You can heal. And you can come out stronger on the other side. My story isn't one of revenge. It's one of survival and rediscovery. It is about finding the strength to walk away from a lie and start building a new life based on truth. Starting with being true to yourself. If you're going through something similar, know that you are not alone, and there is light on the other side of this darkness. Thanks for listening.